UNC Charlotte. Last December, Brendan Plavik decked Assembly Hall with bows of sadness on a last-second heave that shocked the Hoosiers. Tonight, Indiana seeks payback in the halls of Halton Arena. The season, and they've got the colors right. From Charlotte, North Carolina, we welcome you to Halton Arena for Holiday Hoops, presented by Kay Jewelers, as 18th ranked Indiana visits UNC Charlotte, hoping to right what they still feel was a painful wrong last year. The Hoosiers think that shot never should have counted. Happy holidays, everybody. Dave O'Brien alongside Jay Billis. Great to have you along. That was a very painful loss for the Hoosiers last year, Jay. They really had it sink in for about 3 or 4 months afterwards. UNC Charlotte went on to the NCAA tournament. The Hoosiers did not. At least the Hoosiers get some help tonight in DJ White, the big guy. He gets back in.
Well, DJ White, 6'10", a really good shot blocker. He blocked 64 shots last year, the freshman of the year in the Big Ten. The key will be his conditioning as to how long he can play, but we expect him to play some minutes.
Well, which star wins the battle in the paint tonight could go a long way to determining who wins this thing. All-America candidates Marco Killingsworth and Curtis Withers.
Well, Curtis Withers from Charlotte, an outstanding interior scorer. He is a hard worker, hardly ever gets outworked. If there's anybody that could outwork him, though, it's Marco Killingsworth. When he gets deep position, he scores. Left-handed, averaging over 20 points per game, shooting over 60% from the field.
Charlotte's top scorer is not Curtis Withers. It's D'Angelo Alexander at 17 a game. Indiana can go 11 deep tonight. Robert Baden hits for 13 tonight. Marshall Strickland, the senior, 14 points a game. But Killingsworth and Withers are the souls for their team. Next 40 minutes, we'll see who's better. The opening tip controlled by the 49ers, and we are underway tonight. And a pleasure to have you along. This one could well go down to the wire, just as last year's game did. Of course, the Hoosiers think it went beyond the wire.
Well, Charlotte going against the man-to-man defense of Indiana.
Alexander unable to convert from close range, and it'll go the other way. Let's check out our starting stat. This is what we want you to keep track of tonight. We certainly will. 3-pointers made for Indiana. They're 9th in the NCAA right now at almost 10 a game. And Charlotte has always fired up threes as often as anybody in America.
Well, Indiana going to go inside to Marco Killingsworth every time they can. And when he catches it off the lane, he's less likely to score. That's what Charlotte wants to do. Make him catch it outside of the lane.
It was Withers with the rejection as he got up to slap it back. Baldwin with it on the wing. He drives by Monroe and is sealed on the baseline. Kicks it out to Withers. UNC Charlotte 5-4 coming in. A balky start for them. Nance high for the rebound, and he's fouled. 19:03 to play, just getting started in the first half.
Chris Nance awfully strong inside. You got to box him out and keep a body on him all the time. The offensive glass is where he can hurt you.
And how about Bobby Lutz in his 8th year as the Charlotte head coach? It's his 500th game, and it's a rematch, one of the most controversial finishes of all of last season. He's had terrific success. Charlotte putting Nance at the line. He's a 6'8" senior. And drops in the first one. And going head-to-head tonight with Mike Davis. Hard to believe, Jay, that he's in his 6th year in Bloomington already.
Yeah, one of the most criticized coaches in America, but he's got an excellent record. And I'll tell you what, Dave, he's got a really good team this year. This team is NCAA tournament worthy.
Nance looking very smooth at the line. Indiana ranked in the top 20. Down 2-0, and the Hoosiers with the ball. Indiana coming off a big win over number 15 Kentucky. That may keep the Wolves away off of Mike Davis's back for a while. But Indiana with the Big Ten schedule looming. Killingsworth down low. Gets a lot of attention there, and it spits free.
Charlotte went zone. Little pressure in the backcourt to try to slow him down, and then the zone. And this guy, Lemar Goldwire, he's a big factor for Charlotte. If he can score, the 49ers are hard to beat.
Averaging 11 a game. He's second on the team to Alexander in 3-point attempts, but he's only hitting 29%. A great start for him, and Charlotte leads it 5-0.
Back to man-to-man for Charlotte. Bobby Lutz is known for changing defenses. He likes to give you different looks every time down, keep you off balance.
Baden fires the three and quiets the crowd here to get Indiana on the scoreboard.
Baden reminds me a lot of sort of a poor man's Chuck Person. He's got the ability to shoot it from the perimeter. He can put it on the deck, and he is an outstanding passer.
Davis has a lot of faith, and it plays him about 33 minutes a night. There's Goldwire again, but this time in and out. And a foul and a rebounding fray inside the first couple of minutes here. 17:56 to go. And that is foul number 1 on Withers. So Curtis Withers, the National Player of the Year candidate, picks up his first. And Withers, after a second straight superb season again, first team All-Conference USA honors last year. He hit the weight room exceptionally hard over the summer. He added about 10 pounds of muscle. But down the stretch, didn't play his best basketball last year. In round 1 of the NCAA tournament, Indiana, I should say UNC Charlotte, knocked out by NC State. He turned it over 7 times. He really took it personally. And he took that frustration to the weight room. Monroe getting it inside. There's Bade in close range. It hung on the rim and dropped out.
Indiana does a very good job of cutting to the basket and cutting off of Marco Killingsworth. That's also tends to open up Killingsworth inside.
With a turn and shoot. Not there for him, and a rebound by Monroe, and here come the Hoosiers looking to push the tempo.
To pick up the ball if you're Charlotte. They are leaving people open.
Killingsworth, the man inside with a turn. Can't get it to roll in. And it's Withers crashing the glass. He averages 10.4 rebounds. At 6'8", he plays even bigger than that. And this is his hometown. He was severely under-recruited here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You can tell where Killingsworth got the ball on that last possession. He's going to score most of the time, but Charlotte made him go to his right hand. He is left-handed.
Withers follows his own miss and tips it in.
Well, Withers is a guy that is going to score a lot of points inside if Robert Baden is guarding him. If you see Killingsworth on him, I think you'll see Charlotte go to more pick and roll, make Killingsworth guard out on the perimeter.
Monroe nearly threw it away as it's caught by Ratliff. A.J. Ratliff, who got his first start of the season against Kentucky, and came up huge in that game with 21 points in the second half to knock off the Wildcats.
Charlotte in man-to-man. They're doing a good job of forcing Indiana further out on the floor, out of their comfort zone. And Nance doing a nice job of pushing Killingsworth off of the lane.
Shot clock at 2. They do not see it, and the shot clock expires. And a great job defensively by the 49ers as Mike Davis's team does not get off a shot.
Tell you, Dave, this is a different Charlotte team defensively than we've seen in the last few ball games. Charlotte has not guarded well, especially in the game against Valparaiso. They started off the season shooting it poorly. And now in the last 3 games, they've not defended particularly well. They haven't had everything in sync, but I'll tell you what, they are guarding right now.
They fell behind 15 to Valpo and never did recover, although they cut it to 3 at the end and lost 80-77. A travel by Withers. He'll give it up here with 15:44 left. Curtis Withers, this is a couple of possessions ago, however, establishing himself in the paint. It's going to be quite a battle between Killingsworth and Withers tonight.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
Hey, so what'd they say?
Oh, same 3 hours.
We'll still be at my folks for Christmas.
I say we start Christmas right now.
Oh, honey, this isn't very Christmassy.
Sure it is. You're here.
This holiday, tell her she's what makes everything special with a stunning diamond bracelet from Kay Jewelers. And you can be assured of 2 things. First, every diamond is hand-selected to match beautifully. And second, she'll absolutely love it.
At least Santa's still flying.
Every kiss begins with K.
For men, competition is a 24/7 thing that demands the protection of new Speed Stick 24/7. That's why they developed the microabsorber technology in new Speed Stick 24/7. Powerful particles that can absorb up to 100 times their weight in wetness, keeping you drier. And ready for even the most demanding competition. New Speed Stick 24/7 with microabsorber technology, keeping men drier 24/7.
If you're going to go out and drink Guinness, remember, use common sense and always know when you've had your fill.
A simple way to remember it is, use Sagwihif.
What?
Please drink responsibly from the brewers of Guinness.
Prepare for the sequel to the best-selling Star Wars game of all time. Fight as a Jedi. Fight in space. Fight the battles any way you want. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Get your copy today and fight again. Rated teen.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. And the Nikon D50 Digital SLR. Incredible pictures made incredibly easy.
Charlotte with the quick lead and some crazy get-ups as well. well, a 7-3 lead over Indiana. ESPN's Bowl Road trip continues Wednesday at 8. The GMAC Bowl from Alabama. Battle of two high-scoring offenses, the Rockets and the Miners, also available in high def on ESPN HD. A big story tonight, certainly for Indiana, is freeing up number 5, Marco Killingsworth.
And the key is how you defend him. If you let Marco Killingsworth get a foot in the lane and bury in the post, see, he's got his foot in the lane there. You've got to push him off that lane because he can bury you right under the basket, and he normally scores there. Chris Nance did a good job of forcing him to his offhand to his right, and that right hand, he was fading away and wound up missing that. He is not going to miss those opportunities very often. You have got to push him outside of that lane area where he is less effective.
Early on, though, as quiet as can be, Killingsworth came in averaging 20. He has yet to score. Indiana with the ball here, down by 4.
2-3 zone for Charlotte. Nice pass.
There's Killingsworth, the position he wants to get. He got the bucket and a foul.
Boy, you get the ball into the middle of that lane. They got it to Robert Baden. Baden turned and faced the basket and immediately looked to Killingsworth. That was really well executed. Once you get the ball into the middle, boy, that's how you beat a zone. And you can see Killingsworth there going to that left hand, his strong hand. And once you let him get started, the floodgates can open up because he scores in bunches.
Well, he's certainly done that against some big-name opponents. At the line, it's been a different story. 55% his free throw shooting. It's always been a little bit of a problem for him, even in his days at Auburn, where he's the 63% foul shooter. But of course, he had that huge game against Sheldon Williams at Duke, and 34 points, 23 against Kentucky.
Boy, a lot of guys been having big games against Sheldon Williams lately individually. He's given up a lot of points, but still a terrific defender.
Turned over, and Indiana will have it here, and Davis will go to his bench. And he's going to bring on Roderick Wilmot, a 6'4 junior out of Miramar, Florida. He'll replace A.J. Ratliff. So UNC Charlotte really hitting their threes as of late. Remember, they lost Brendan Flavick from last year's squad. Also Eddie Basden, an excellent squad that went to the NCAA tournament. As of late, though, starting to nail those threes. Their last 3 games, they are hitting 50% beyond that arc. Indiana's been terrific beyond the three-point line all season and continue to be with Strickland right on the money.
Boy, they do such a good job on that handoff. He can go backdoor Strickland or come off that handoff. And they are coming off ready to shoot. This Indiana team hitting almost 10 threes per game. They can really spread you.
46%. Coleman jumps in and drops down the bucket. Big Antoine Coleman, a little bit smaller than he was when he arrived on campus in May, as he's dropped about 40 pounds.
Boy, there's still plenty of him, though. He came in at 314 pounds, and he just bowled his way to the basket, and Killingsworth just got out of the way. You can see the nice little handoff play here. You got Robert Baden giving it off to Strickland, and Strickland comes off ready to shoot, uses that inside pivot foot, and goes straight up and down. That was very well done.
Monroe picking up the foul. Loose on the floor. Indiana sprawls for it, and Monroe comes away with it. Charlotte up by 1. Baden making his move, working on Withers. Got lucky with the pass to squeak it through. Charlotte, 2 possessions back, able to shut down Indiana, keep them from even getting a shot off as the shot clock expired. Baden backing his way in and threw it away.
Boy, what a great job by Coleman on the help.
And how about Wilmot getting up there to deflect the shots? Roderick Wilmot rising up high, only 6'4". Free in the corner, it's Baden, and he gets it. A 3-pointer. He knocks it down, and here come the Hoosiers. They lead it 11-9.
Boy, how about that turnaround, Dave? The play by Wilmot leads to a 3, so it looks like Charlotte with a run out to get an easy 2 after a great defensive play by Coleman.
Coleman, good shooting touch. He can also pass the ball. A pretty good mid-range game as well for the big fella. The junior from Great Falls, South Carolina, the junior college transfer, could really develop into something for the 49ers.
And a heck of a start for him. He's only shooting 34% on the season. That's been a problem for Charlotte all year long. They've not shot the ball particularly well.
They've also been idle for the last 9 days due to exams. The Hoosiers also coming off a 9-day break, and Monroe weaves his way in for 2 points.
Boy, the help just a little bit late coming over to catch him off that spin move, but Lewis Monroe can put the ball on the floor. Another transfer from Auburn. Played with Killingsworth for Cliff Ellis there.
Charlotte with the ball, and Goldwire has it. Gives it off to Mitchell Baldwin, and he'll set up a play here with 12:43 left in the opening half. here at Halton Arena.
Not many guards in the country are faster with the ball than Mitchell Baldwin. Nice high-low. You got to get some pressure on the passer.
Coleman feeding inside to Withers as he gets hammered. Curtis Withers, the 6'8" senior.
Withers, you can see, setting that little rub screen and immediately diving down into the post, and Vaden up on top of him. When Robert Vaden is guarding Curtis Withers, you can expect Charlotte to look to him every time. They want to get the ball inside when they think they've got a favorable matchup.
Robert Vaden with his first personal, 13-11 Indiana.
Well, that really shows the versatility of Vaden as a defender, to be able to guard a guy like Withers inside. And he can also guard out on the perimeter. You can see the referees taking a look at this little splint on the hand.
Well, it's a full slate of college hoops on ESPN2 Wednesday night. Our triple header starts at 6 Eastern. St. John's at #1 Duke in Cameron. Then at 8, Dee Brown at #6 Illinois taking on Missouri. Last but not least, at 10 o'clock, it's Arkansas against Texas Tech. And Bobby Knight, Holiday Hoops, presented by Cade Jewelers on ESPN2 Wednesday. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. We've been examining that hand of Marcus Bennett.
It's a hard cast on it, Dave. That's what the problem is. And Jim Burr and John Cale right now are talking with Bobby Lutz about that. And it looks like they're going to have to take that off of Bennett before he can come back into the ball game, or at least take the hard portion of it off, because they don't want somebody getting hurt.
Bennett, a 6'3" senior out of Detroit. So apparently they've arranged it so it is not an issue. And the 49ers will check it in here. At long last, Indiana leading by 2.
Angelo Alexander's a guy that's got to get going in this ball game and assert himself offensively to be a threat. That's a foul.
Yep, hold there. And Baldwin, trying to make his move to the right, was held up. UNC Charlotte coming in. As mentioned, a rather disappointing record for them early in the year. Already 4 losses, Jay. This is their debut season in the Atlantic 10. Coming off 21 wins. My goodness gracious. And how about Curtis Withers getting everybody up in the building and doing it with authority.
Boy, what a well-designed play. He faked the handoff. The defense went with the inbounds man, and bang!
Vaden got a great look at the basket, could not knock down the three-pointer. And Charlotte ties it with a rousing dunk by Curtis Withers. Nance up high. And there's Alexander, who averages 17 a game. To Withers he goes. His bank shot won't float in, but he gets hammered. And already it looks like Curtis Withers is going to be an awful lot of man for the Hoosiers to handle down around that basket.
There is just no quit in Curtis Withers, one of the hardest working players in America.
Hey, during the course of the season, the ESPN family of networks showcases a great basketball moment from all 326 Division I schools. The countdown goes from A to Z. ESPN News prior to the program is coming up next.
Give entertainment, give fun, give possibilities. From MP3 players to digital cameras to gift cards, this holiday there are more gifts to give at Best Buy.
Gingerbread Blast. Sonic's got it, others don't. It's your favorite holiday cookie crumbled into a delicious frozen treat. Sonic's new Gingerbread Blast. Buy reloadable My Sonic card today and give the gift of great food. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Coming to DVD.
This girl is a living weapon.
The action starts now.
She is a mite unpredictable.
The action takes off on DVD Tuesday.
Is this a help desk?
Yes.
We need some help.
With what?
It's a prototype?
Forget prototypes.
How do we test our new design?
Virtual simulations, on-demand supercomputing.
We're a small company. That sounds expensive.
It's not. That's expensive.
Yeah, that is expensive. Hey, can we get a ride somewhere?
This one tied up 13 apiece. Time now for our pride of the program. Brought to you by ESPNU. And tonight in the spotlight, it's Duquesne. He would later own the famed Homestead Grays of baseball's Negro Leagues. But Cumberland Posey Jr. played basketball, too. He was the first African-American athlete at Duquesne, leading the Dukes in scoring for 3 seasons. Our ESPNU pride of the program, Indiana and Charlotte in a 13-13 tie. How about the inbounds with Withers dunking?
Marcus Bennett taking the ball out. He's going to come off for a handoff. Everybody goes with Bennett. And Curtis Withers makes him pay. That's what you call finishing a play.
Rocking the house, and he will go to the line here. Withers at 16 points and about 10.4 rebounds a game. But like Marco Killingsworth, the bugaboo is at the foul line for him, where he's only 56%.
Yeah, Killingsworth and Withers, both of them strong interior players. They're giving away points by not being better free throw shooters. And, you know, frankly, it's all a mental thing for them. Their mechanics aren't bad enough where they should be missing at that high of a rate.
Marcus Bennett snatches away the rebound. Alexander won't wait around, and he knocks down a 3.
Well, maybe they know better than we do. You know, you miss both free throws, you trade 2 for 3. Pretty strong.
The 49ers hoping that long layoff of 9 days won't disrupt their shooting eye. The last 3 games, they're hitting 50% beyond the three-point line. Strickland sets up and can't make it go down. Withers with the rebound.
That was a little 2-3 zone from Charlotte. Bobby Lutz again changing defenses. Indiana's going to have to recognize and adjust.
The three-point shot has been such a major part of Charlotte's attack under Bobby Lutz. His team in double-digit threes each of the last 3 ball games as Monroe picks the rebound for the Hoosiers.
I think Nance could have taken that all the way to the rim.
Trying to beat Killingsworth, and he comes up with a silly foul, grabbing from behind after the turnover.
One of the things, Dave, when you're on the road is patience. You have got to be strong with the ball and have patience. You can see Nance really gambling there, but getting his hand on the ball and knocking it away, and not a good foul by Marco Killingsworth to foul 90 feet away from the basket. You don't want to give up fouls that easily, especially when you're so important to your team's success on the road.
It's his first of the night. 11:01 left here in the first half. Charlotte by 3. Foul situation, Indiana with 6 already.
When Indiana hasn't turned the ball over, they've gotten good shots. They have to be strong with it.
Baldwin holds it, looking inside.
Here comes the ball screen now. They're going to make Killingsworth guard out on the perimeter, so he doesn't do a good job of handling those ball screens.
Baldwin had a very good look after the screen set by Withers, but missed the jump shot, and the Hoosiers have it.
But Chris Nance has done a pretty good job on Killingsworth, not allowing him to get that deep position right underneath the rim. And Withers guarding DJ White, the first time they've played together.
Indiana trying to get position underneath. Killingsworth does that and returns it. Boy, he's just so tough to handle down there. The senior with only 7% body fat, but posting some very fat numbers. We talked about how he ran Sheldon Williams ragged, had a great game against Kentucky, and he's doing it on the national stage consistently.
He knows what he is and knows exactly where he can score, and that is down deep in the paint. And there aren't many guys who can lock you into the paint like he can. He gets his body into you, and it's all over.
Nance got enough air underneath it, but could not hit the jump shot. And Indiana to romp here. Strickland in the offensive zone.
I don't think Indiana would mind seeing Nance take that shot over and over again.
Killingsworth in and out this time for him from long range. And both teams have gone a little bit chilly here from the floor in the last couple of minutes. Neither side shooting particularly well, as that one is taken by Withers. Wide open Baldwin, but he can't get it. He's missed 2 in a row.
Chris Nance trying to feed the post from 20 feet away. That is not a good angle nor a good pass. Lucky it got through.
Monroe thought about it from 3, got inside, lost it, deflected out of bounds. 9:07 left here in the first half. And substitutions here for the Hoosiers. And Jay, their team that goes awfully deep, with DJ White getting into the ball game here for the first time this season. They could play 11 men tonight.
They really can, and they've got some interchangeable parts. Their guards are very solid. Got a number of guys that can shoot the ball. They can all handle, and they run some nice 4 round-1 sets where they work off of Killingsworth in the low block, and now DJ White.
Who's been itching to play all season. That one rolls out for him, but he's coming back from a broken left foot that he suffered in an exhibition game back on November 4th. This is his first game of the season. He gives the Hoosiers a 6'9" sophomore.
Well, he's a really good player and a shot blocker. One thing he's got to do is get stronger in his lower body. He gets pushed off the lane a little bit too easy. That time Coleman pushed him about 3-4 feet off the lane and turned a power move into a turnaround jumper.
Coleman high off the glass, and the follow won't go. Up on the rim, tipped in. It was Coleman coming back for it.
Coleman really does take up a lot of space, and for his size, very good off his feet.
A whistle away from the basketball underneath. And some bumping there. Marcus Bennett is hit with a foul. 18-15. Charlotte leading by 3. And now White will come out. DJ White, as Jay mentioned earlier, not likely to play many minutes. He's certainly not in game shape at this point. Off the inbounds, it's Strickland to drop in a 3.
Boy, that's too easy, Dave. You got to make Marshall Strickland put the ball on the floor. He is very good in catch-and-shoot situations, and you don't want to let him just step into his shot, especially off an out-of-bounds play like that.
Well, he shoots 52% from 3. Alexander with a miss, and Strickland gets the rebound.
One thing Charlotte cannot afford to do is get into too many one-pass and shot situations. You've got to make your opponent guard you.
Earl Calloway getting into the ball game, one of the many Hoosiers that Davis can turn to. He's got it out high now. And they also have Big Ben Allen, the kid from Melbourne, Australia, into the ball game, but they're raining threes, and the Hoosiers are suddenly on fire as Roderick Wilmot hits a triple. And a timeout. Charlotte 21-18, and Indiana, shooting three-pointers as well as anybody in the country lately, knocks down another one.
This holiday season, take your family to a galaxy far, far away with the biggest movie of the year, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on DVD. This 2-disc set is packed with over 6 hours of bonus features. Buy Star Wars Episode 3 on DVD today.
I'm just like you. I work hard every day. Back pain or not, because I get big relief from the Icy Hot Back Patch.
Bigger than many ordinary patches. First it's icy to dull the pain, then hot to relax it away. The Icy Hot Back Patch.
Count on it.
Indiana jumps in front 21-18 over Charlotte. ESPN's bowl road trip continues Wednesday at 8. The GMAC Bowl from Alabama. A battle of 2 high-scoring offenses, 2 quarterbacks getting a lot of attention at next year's NFL draft, and that starts to approach. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. It's high definition ESPN HD. Inside Halton Arena, it's Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. Dave O'Brien, Jay Billis with you. It's the home of the Charlotte 49ers. Indiana 5 out of 8 from 3. No surprise there. Charlotte's only launched 5 of them so far, Jay.
Well, they've been trying to go inside. Now Charlotte facing a little 1-3-1 zone.
And Callaway with a holding foul. Earl Callaway with his first. And we have a timeout with 7:13 left. 21-18 Indiana.
This December, Nissan's got you covered from A to Z. Nissan's A to Z year-end sales event. Get year-end deals on Altima, Armada, Frontier, Maxima, Murano, Pathfinder, Quest, Sentra, Titan, Xterra, Z. Like a $199 per month lease on Altima with the special edition package at your Nissan dealer now. Style, performance, value. From A to Z.
Capital One Bowl Week brings you one of the best matchups of the season. The mighty Canes against the battle-tested Tigers. 2 dominant defenses, 2 explosive offenses, 2 top 10 teams in a game you just can't miss. Capital One Bowl Week presents the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Miami LSU. Friday, December 30th at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Professionals and do-it-yourselfers alike come to Evansville Sheet Metal Works for personal service.
We make ordering easy. You can call us, send a fax, email us, or just walk in.
We help you select the right materials for the job. We also provide processing like cutting a piece of metal to size, so when the material leaves here, it's ready for you to use.
The service doesn't stop there. With local and regional delivery, we make sure you get what you need when you need it.
Making the most of metal since 1946.
Hey!
Nice meeting you.
Is he all right? Fat Albert is in love.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll meet you downstairs.
Whoa! I'm looking for Mr. Cosby. I'm Fat Albert.
SiggyCom. Choices for the way you live.
Scott Reese back in the studio. Gonzaga and Eastern Washington. We've got ourselves a ball game. 2-point contest, mid-second half. Adam Morrison going baseline. He has got 20, but the Eagles not going away. Matt Penincello off the glass to tie it at 55, and that is where we sit with 9.5 to play, guys.
Well, Zaga, one of the teams we're going to be seeing in our Holiday Hoops lineup. Ranked teams on ESPN and ESPN2 coming up the 19th through the 31st, and Zaga will be playing number 4 Memphis, in fact, on the 27th.
Boy, and that's going to be a great game. Our good friend Dick Vitale going to be courtside at that one. That's got the chance to be a thriller. I've just really been impressed with Memphis and the way they have handled themselves. I knew they were going to be talented. I didn't know they were going to be this close and this together. That team's got a swagger. They know that they're good.
And they're growing up awfully fast for such a young unit. Indiana with a 1-point lead coming up in the 7-minute mark of the first half. Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien with you here from Charlotte. Strickland kicks it up to Monroe here, and Indiana pretty hot from the 3-point line. 5 out of 8. They've caught fire completely now at 50% shooting for the night.
Little 2-3 matchup zone here. Tandem out front. You've really got to extend and close out the shooters under control.
Strickland denied beyond the foul line. Launched by Vaden, and he knocked it down. And another 3-pointer for the Hoosiers.
One of the things you have to do when you've got shooters like Indiana does, you got to make them dribble into their shot. If they can catch and shoot, especially when they get hot, got a chance to bury you. And Indiana is just living by that 3-point line right now. They got 6 threes in this game.
And they're averaging over 9 per game in shooting from the 3-point line this season. That's tops in the Big Ten. Withers on the dribble, a high bank, and then he missed it. Indiana really using that bench. Monroe with the kick to Strickland. Another one from 3-point range, and it's raining triples for the Hoosiers.
Boy, Indiana, what a nice break, and the spot up out in the corner. You have got to really extend on these guys, and that's too quick a shot for Charlotte. They're not making Indiana guard. And the Hoosiers could break this one open right now.
Killingsworth zips that pass. Another long bomb, and right on the money by Roderick Wilmot. And the Charlotte 49ers are forced to take a timeout. 1-3 after another for the Hoosiers. The 49ers getting a taste of their own medicine over the years.
Robert Vaden spotting up and shooting it. I think the key has been this Indiana team has been ready to shoot as the ball arrives. You can see that opposite foot forward, stepping into the shot, used a little bit of a pass fake. And then Marshall Strickland in transition. You can see the penetration by Monroe, draws in Marcus Bennett, and Strickland ready to shoot. And after the ball goes inside to Marco Killingsworth, he gets doubled, he turns and looks opposite, and Roderick Wilmot ready to shoot. You know, not many teams have that many shooters. Usually a team will have 1 or 2 guys you really got to get out to. Well, that's not true of this Indiana team. They got 5 guys you got to get out to and really guard.
So you saw how Indiana started, but they've really gotten warm in a hurry, haven't they? And 8 out of 11 beyond the arc in this one. Yep. Overall, they're the best shooting team in the Big Ten right now at 54%, let alone the 3-point line.
Little 1-3-1 zone right now with DJ White out top. Talk about some long arms and reach that you got to go over.
Withers barely got that pass to Goldwire. Took that inlet shot on there, and that's going to be a charge as Wilmot took the flop. The guy just buried a couple of big threes. 30-20, Indiana by 10.
Well, you can sense a little bit of frustration on the part of Charlotte right now. Goldwire taking that left arm and maybe a little bit of an acting job, but once you bring up that arm, you are going to get that call just about every time. And, you know, it's amazing, Dave. You would think to have a lead in a game like this that Indiana would have to be going inside to Marco Killingsworth every time. Now he wants to get into the three-point action.
And he does. Wow. Killingsworth with a 3. 9. There's another long bomb by Charlotte.
Too quick.
Too quick indeed.
That's how you get blown out, Dave, by taking quick shots.
Baden jumps back beyond that line. That's where the Hoosiers want to live tonight. Look at their run. 20-2 in the last 5 minutes plus.
And give some credit there to Robert Baden for pulling that back out. That was a smart play. He's not just trading upon their recent success.
Baden, not this time. Rebound tipped in. And tipped in by Charlotte. On the rebound, it appeared. DJ White getting in there and fighting for it. And Indiana, everything going right for the Hoosiers right now, opening up a 15-point lead.
Boy, how about a way to get your first bucket after coming back from an injury? One where it's knocked in as much by Curtis Withers as by DJ White. But you know, every player knows how to do that. After the ball goes in and you're the closest guy, every guy puts his hand up to let the scorer's table know. That was me. Give that one to me.
First thing you learn in junior high. So Indiana up by 15 in a game that came right down to the final moments, and in fact probably beyond the buzzer last year, as Charlotte went to Bloomington and pulled out a shocker on a Brendan Plavic heave at midcourt. And here's our holdup as the officials have asked for a referee's timeout. The clock on this end finally lights up.
Yeah, it was just on one end, and how ironic given what happened last year with the clock that you've got a clock problem in this game. But you know, it's funny, Dave, when you look at Marco Killingsworth, I mean, we've already mentioned that Robert Baden reminds you a little bit of Chuck Person. Who does Killingsworth remind you of when you watch him play?
Boy, it's a great question. I mean, he's gotten so much bigger and stronger even than over the last couple of years since I saw him last at Auburn.
Well, he's got a little Paul Silas in him, got a little Maurice Lucas, and that was for Lavin, by the way. I wanted to go way back into the ESPN Classic Vault to come out with some comparisons.
Goldwire, probably another ill-advised shot there for the 49ers, and they can't find their go-to guy right now.
Too much dribbling.
Alexander has been very quiet despite averaging 17. Can't get the lay-in. And the Hoosiers cradle the rebound here with a 15-point advantage in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Here's where you go into Killingsworth. After you've spread out this Charlotte team, go into Marco, let him go to work.
Killingsworth in close, not there for him. Alexander on the drive, really forcing it here, and it's an end of charge.
Boy, what a job by Marshall Strickland defensively to hold your ground.
Indiana ahead 35-20 over Charlotte.
Tomorrow night at 7, the College Game Day Bowl Special. Then at 8, bowl season kicks off with the New Orleans Bowl as Southern Miss and Arkansas State collide. On ESPN2 at 8,
they've already killed one man. They're threatening to kill one an hour.
We look back at 1972, the tragedy of the Munich Games. At 9, go coast to coast with live updates from around the NBA. It's all on tomorrow night. For all the latest all the time, turn to ESPN News.
This December, Nissan's got you covered from A to Z. Nissan's A to Z year-end sales event. Get year-end deals on Altima, Armada, Frontier, Maxima, Murano, Pathfinder, Quest, Sentra, Titan, Xterra, Z. Like 2,000 cash back on the Nissan Xterra 2006 Motor Trend Sport Utility of the Year. Style, performance, value. From A to Z.
There's something you should know about colds. Claritin D is so effective, it even relieves nasal congestion due to colds. Non-drowsy, long-lasting, Claritin D. Now your cold congestion can be Claritin Clear.
This season, give a holiday cheer for the #1 movie of the year. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith now on DVD.
This is where the fun begins.
This 2-disc set is packed with over 6 hours of action and adventure. Buy Star Wars Episode 3 on DVD today.
So how are the digital cameras cutting?
They're, cuckoo. Look, it's a cuckoo.
You know, I whittled a tripod earlier.
I whittled 2 tripods.
You know, sir, this year we can use the easy button to get all the digital cameras we need.
Megapixels.
Do it.
This holiday, get all your digital gifts with the Easy Button. Staples has a huge selection of brand-name digital cameras. And this week, get a free Epson all-in-one when you buy a Kodak EasyShare CD43 system after mail-in rebate. Staples. That was easy.
Scott Reese, Steve Lavin, Rick Majerus back in the studio. Coming up on the Kay Jewelers halftime report, we'll throw out a little West Coast bias and break down Steve's top 5 teams in the West. Also, we'll talk about this game, Gonzaga and Eastern Washington. Hey, what's going on in Spokane?
Ball movement of Eastern Washington is exemplary. I'll tell you what, they move the ball, they're getting great shots, helping each other. There's no sticky fingers on that club.
Highlights at halftime. Right now, we send you back to Charlotte, guys.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Indiana with a 15-point lead, and they have built it. Jay Billis on the strength of three-point shooting. 9 out of 13 beyond that arc.
You know, it'd be tough to go 9 out of 13 when you're playing in a horse game, let alone when you're guarded.
Marshall Strickland trying to get away from that defensive pressure. Still unable to get it across. Does now. DJ White getting some minutes for the Hoosiers, and that makes Indiana fans very happy. The 6'9 sophomore out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The catch, and he feeds it out, but he threw it away. Stolen away by Mitchell Baldwin. Bennett trying to get some offense on the board, but a miss.
Charlotte is shooting the ball too quickly. And they feel like they've got to get everything back in one possession. And you've got to make Indiana guard if you want to get back into this.
And Charlotte with only 4 points in the last 7 minutes. 35-20. Launching another one, partially blocked that time. And now Indiana on attack. Here comes Monroe. He flips it up and it rolls in. So even from close range, the shots are falling for the Hoosiers, and they're shooting near 60% for the half.
Well, that was made possible by the bad shot by Marcus Bennett. You know, you got to be careful of the old Superman syndrome here. Like, I'm the guy that's going to do it.
Finally, D'Angelo Alexander knocks down his 3, the 49ers leading scorer. Also their number 2 rebounder, averaging 17 a game, but he's had a real quiet first half. Bad news for the 49ers.
Look how spread out Indiana is. Their spacing has been very good. Offensive foul.
Killingsworth backing in, and he commits the personal. They're not too thrilled with that flop. 2:12 remaining here in the first half. Killingsworth picking up his second.
Well, Chris Nance has done a very nice job on Killingsworth inside. He's used that big, strong body to push Killingsworth off the low block, not get buried in the paint. But it's been the perimeter game that has staked Indiana out to this 14-point lead. They have been magnificent from beyond the arc.
So Davis has to take Killingsworth out with just about 2 minutes left in the first half to keep him from picking up a cheap third. And the 49ers need to go on a run in a big way here to close the first half. The launch, and right on the money by Marcus Bennett. He picks up 3.
Now that's a good shot. They moved the ball side to side and made the defense move.
Charlotte, of course, has been one of the premier up-tempo, in-your-face three-point machines in the country under Bobby Lutz, but not so much tonight. The Hoosiers have been playing that role.
Well, they have fewer three-point shooters this year than in years past, but this still has a chance to be a really, really good basketball team. Bobby Lutz is an outstanding coach, and they'll get these pieces figured out before too long.
Withers flips it up and in on the run, and with no fewer than 24 NBA scouts here tonight, a pretty sweet move for Withers, and now here comes Charlotte on that comeback trail.
Curtis Withers putting the ball on the floor and getting around Robert Baden. You can see the long arms of DJ White coming over to try to block that shot, and Withers just using that left arm to try to ward it off. But here you can see the ball goes from one side to another, and Marcus Bennett able to sneak past a Curtis Withers screen, and moving it from one side to the other was what got him open.
It's a full slate of college basketball on ESPN2 Wednesday night. A triple-header starting at 6. It's St. John's against the #1 team in the country. Next at 8, D. Brown and Illinois taking on Missouri in the Busch Bragging Rights game. And last but not least, at 10 Eastern, Arkansas battles Texas Tech. It's Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers on ESPN2 on Wednesday.
Boy, how about the star power in that lineup? I mean, J.J. Redick at Duke, Sheldon Williams, and Thomas Gardner at Missouri is putting up big games. He's had a couple 30-point games in a row, just had 20 the other night. Dee Brown has been magnificent in his role as a lead guard. And speaking of guards, you know, Bob Knight's got a kid named Jarius Jackson, who I think is a spectacular guard.
Robert Baden knocks his down. The season really started slowly for him. Duke held him to 8 points, but in Indiana's last 5 games, he's been a key guy, averaging 14 a night.
Well, he's so versatile. He can not only guard, he's guarding right now Chris Nance inside, so he can guard the post, he can guard out on the perimeter, and I think he's a terrific passer.
Indiana just unconscious beyond that three-point line. 10 for 14. Withers jumps and misses. The rebound fought for on the baseline and batted out of bounds by Baden with 23.4 seconds left in the first half.
Well, Charlotte has to be thinking, what do we have to do to get a stop here? And Indiana has just shot the ball so incredibly well.
Curtis Withers for the 49ers. 3 out of 8 in the first half, just 6 points, although he has yanked down 8 rebounds.
Referee's doing a nice job getting between Chris Nance and DJ White. Everybody trying to puff their chests out a little bit. And Mike Davis going to take DJ White out. Get a sense of calm back on the floor.
Yep, DJ White very eager to play, to put it mildly, to get his first minutes of the season coming back from the broken foot. Davis has to be delighted with the way his team has shot the ball and buried one three-pointer after another in quite a display.
Charlotte can hold it for the last shot here. Want to let it go with about 4 left so you can get an offensive rebound.
Alexander gets it up high to Nance. Got it. And that's how the first half will end, but Indiana content to have it end that way as they go on the road to very tough building here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And look at the way they have shot it. In the first half alone, 10 three-pointers made. They averaged 9.6. We're at the half. Indiana leading Charlotte by 10. We go to Scott Reese, Coach Steve Lavin, and Coach Rick Majerus, guys.
All right, Dave, it is the Kay Jewelers halftime report, and the aforementioned Steve Lavin and Rick Majerus hanging out for halftime. And Indiana, Steve, really getting it done at both ends of the floor and seemingly outclassing the 49ers early on.
Well, what jumps out when you look at Indiana is obviously we knew with DJ Wright returning and Marco Killingsworth in the front line, that's an incredible tandem of offensive firepower. But now they're knocking down threes from long distance. What really jumps out is their overall team speed and quickness. I think the quickest team I've seen in the country this year, and that changes the game. The dimension, the speed, and quickness brings at both ends of the floor a factor.
And let's not forget about Charlotte here. They played into the Indiana trap by impatience relative to shooting and some shot selection. Their effort has been extraordinary. They've expended good effort, but however, they're going to have to come out and move the ball and get higher percentage shots.
Looks like Charlotte sort of back to the early season shooting woes at just 32% in the first half. Much more college basketball to come, but first news from around the world of sports, beginning on the ice. Larry Robinson resigning as coach of the Devils because of stress and what he calls horrible headaches. Devils president GM Lou Lamoriello will take over on a temporary basis. Other news and notes, Mario Lemieux out of action indefinitely after a recurrence of an irregular heartbeat that he felt on Friday night. A.J. Pierzynski, a 3-year contract extension with the White Sox, $15 million plus incentives, and Rex Grossman, who came in and helped Chicago to a Monday night or a Sunday night football win, will start for the Bears this coming weekend against the Packers. We're all about hoops on the flip side, and the Zags are in a dogfight against the Eagles of Eastern Washington. We'll update you on Adam Morrison and company, plus Kansas with a nice effort earlier against Pepperdine.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And in part by Speedstick 24/7 with microabsorber technology. This December, Nissan's got you covered from A to Z. Nissan's A to Z year-end sales event. Get year-end deals on Altima, Armada, Frontier, Maxima, Murano, Pathfinder, Quest, Sentra, Titan, Xterra, Z. Like a $199 per month lease on Altima with the special edition package at your Nissan dealer now. Style, performance, value. From A to Z.
Do Nikon people take better vacations? Or does the Nikon D50 just make it look that way? The digital SLR the world's been waiting for is here. The affordable new Nikon D50 makes taking incredible digital pictures so incredibly easy. Just about anyone can do it.
Phillips from behind the arc. And it's good. Dunked it down low. Unbelievable. Kobe Bryant with the slam. Watch out below. Shaq with a little gift for the Lakers.
The NBA on ABC Christmas doubleheader. It's Spurs Pistons followed by the Lakers Heat. The action begins at noon Eastern. Christmas Day on ABC.
Welcome back to the Kay Jewelers Halftime Report.
Indiana with an impressive first half, shooting lights out from the perimeter. 10 triples on route to a 10-point lead over the 49ers of Charlotte. Welcome back, everyone, to the Kay Jewelers Halftime Report. Gonzaga and Eastern Washington. You figure out the Zags, a top 10 team, going to roll in this one, but you can never be too sure with these inner-city rivalries. Eastern Washington coming off a loss to Washington by 17, but this one is much, much closer. Adam Morrison and company with their work cut out for him, and Rodney Stuckey cleaning up the miss here. Eastern within 4, second half. Adam Morrison, baseline. Little floater, Zags up by 4. Got to be the stash, right? Deuce Smith the second. Now, if you're Deuce, do you need to be the second as well? That would seem to be redundant. In any case, it's a Tress. Three-pointer is good. Eastern by 3. Sean Mallon to Morrison. Back and forth we go. Jake Bettinger with position, the lay-in, and one. And holy cow, we're all tied again at 60. But the Zags just starting to pull away. Backdoor to Morrison once again.
Veteran group, experienced group, knows how to finish out games. This is not a game if you're Mark Few. You want to stub your toe on. It can haunt you come Selection Sunday.
And once again, just as I say that, it was a 5-point lead, and the Eagles have answered back, so it's 65-62. And, of course, we'll keep you posted here. 3 minutes to go in regulation. And Gonzaga, Steve, certainly one of the top teams, if not the best team out in the West. But, hey, let's exude some West Coast bias. Take us through your best 5 teams out West.
Well, I think we've talked a lot about Gonzaga, and what impresses me with them is when Earl Knight is back in the fold at full strength and Josh Heitfeld, they're going to have the depth necessary and the speed and quickness to make a run in the NCAA tournament. I think UCLA right there, the favorite right now to win the Pac-10 Conference Championship, and a team capable of making a run deep. These are all teams right here. We look at Washington with Brandon Roy, a Pac-10 Player of the Year candidate. Lorenzo Romar has his Huskies undefeated. They play an exciting up-and-down style of play, full-court pressure. Also Jamal Williams, a transfer from New Mexico, really contributing there. Nick Fazekas there. We look at Nevada down at the bottom, a Player of the Year candidate, a future lottery pick, and Mark Fox has Nevada playing really good basketball. They'll also be tested because they've played very tough teams. And I think Lute Olson, by the end of this season, will have his team better. Right now, they're struggling, searching a little bit. Life without Channing Frye and Salim Stoudemire has been tough for Arizona, but don't count them out. Those are 5 teams, Rick, that hope to be playing in Oakland in the regional finals with a chance to go to the Final Four. They may not get a 1 seed, but they could get a 2 seed if they end up bringing teams from the East out to be a 1.
And I concur with you ranking at Gonzaga number 1. How many teams got Rabiot, a point guard, who's a scoring point guard? Baptista can get you any points you want down on the block. And then, of course, the human highlight film in terms of
Mr. Morrison.
Mr. Morrison, yeah. But we forgot about Air Force, 9-1, their best start in school history. You look at the Falcons, they've got wins over Miami, St. Mary's, Navy. Their only loss is at the University of Washington. They're shooting 43% from 3. They're shooting a terrific percentage from the free-throw line as well. They play great defense. Jeff Besdelic has come in there and done a terrific job in terms of meshing the old Princeton offense with some NBA pick-and-roll things, and then their team defense is the best ever. I don't want to forget about the Falcons, because if you're not afraid to jump on a bomb, you're not afraid to jump on a loose ball. Let me tell you that right now.
And they're scoring 68 points a game, and this is not your older brother's Air Force team.
Stanford, Cal, Oregon could be dangerous, really underachieving right now. And Pacific and Fullerton, don't sleep on them. They could still be a surprise by the end of the year.
All right, well, you mentioned Arizona, and just so happens the Wildcats in action against Sam Houston State, and this had to feel good for Lute's kids. It's now 35 midway through the second half. Chris Rogers with 19 points. Kansas earlier on ESPN2, no problem with Pepperdine, 63-43. Sasha Khan with a double-double. More from the studio coming right up.
This halftime report is presented by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Taking a quick break?
I'd like to see those for someone very special.
Has she been good?
Very good, for goodness sake.
This holiday, what do you give the most important person on your list? Diamond solitaire earrings from Kay Jewelers, where you can be assured of two things. First, every diamond is hand-selected to match beautifully. And second, she'll absolutely love them.
Chris, they're beautiful. How did you know?
Every kiss begins with K.
Turn off the Ambilight function on your Philips flat TV, and it's like going back in time. The only flat TV with Ambilight from Philips. You'll never go back to ordinary TV.
Accidents happen. Nice to know the Jetta received the top overall crash rating in its class from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety.
Prepare for the sequel to the best-selling Star Wars game of all time. Fight as a Jedi. Fight in space. Fight the battles any way you want. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Get your copy today and fight again. Rated teen.
New 7-Up Plus with calcium. With real fruit juice, 25% of your daily calcium and less than 25 calories per bottle. It tastes so good, you can feel it in your bones. 7-Up Plus. For great taste with calcium, the only way to go is up.
Drop that old school. Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about right there. I see you, little man. Yeah. Okay.
This is the Kay Jewelers halftime report.
Couple of scores from San Juan. Clemson, 101-60 over the whole school. Puerto Rico, Mayaguez, and Campbell, a loser against Indiana State, which is still undefeated at 7-0. Sycamores. Speaking of undefeated, perhaps some of the surprises of the early season, Steve.
Well, great job by Royce Waltman early in the season here. He's got David Moss, a 6'5 senior who's been shooting the ball lights out. And Bruce Pearl with a great start there at Tennessee, the big win over Texas at Texas. And Thad Matta continues to build Ohio State. And, of course, we already talked about Coach Romar with Brandon Roy and company and their exciting brand of basketball.
And, of course, Florida, perhaps a surprise as well. Maybe some softer undefeated teams, Rick.
Well, I think Clemson plays a steel drum band next, and then the Jamaican bobsled team. After that, Pittsburgh and ditto for Texas A&M. Haven't left home yet. George Washington hasn't left that area yet. And 3 of those 4 teams are beat up on Penn State. So that's where the state of that is. It's all scheduling.
The Jamaican bobsled team, I don't know if they can play hoops. I guess it'd be good TV. All right, what about Gonzaga? Let's update you now from Spokane and a sigh of relief in Bulldog country. It's 71-62 as the Zags look like they will survive a scare from the Eagles. Second half tip-off coming up from Charlotte right after this.
This halftime report is presented by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Now.
The German-engineered Passat, named Best Pick Front and Side Impact by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. With zero due at signing, you can lease a 2.0T Value Edition Passat for just $299 a month on a 39-month lease.
That's my wife, Patty. Patty loves football, and today's her 7th day with Prilosec OTC. Last Sunday, she missed the kickoff because her frequent heartburn flared up again. Next day, she switched to Prilosec OTC. Now she's not missing a thing. Not on day 2, not on day 5, and definitely not today.
Honey!
All thanks to Prilosec OTC and 0 heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. It's day 7 for Patty. What day are you on?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
This holiday season, deck the halls with the famously fresh taste of Planters.
A mechanical contractor designs, installs, repairs, and maintains the piping systems that deliver your gasoline, heat and cool your buildings, and deliver life-saving oxygen to medical patients. Those are responsibilities that belong only in the hands of trained professionals. And the training required by the Indiana Pipe Trades and the Indiana MCA is the best training in the industry. We have proof. MCA of Indiana and the Indiana Pipe Trades, backing their promises with proof.
Experience the Cadillac Season's Best Sales Event. Going on now. Cadillac. Breakthrough.
Welcome back to Charlotte. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. Number 17, Indiana, leading by 10 over Charlotte. Dave O'Brien, Jay Billis with you. We look at the first half stats, and, you know, Jay, it's rather surprising. Charlotte's only 10 back despite how well Indiana shot the ball.
Indiana did shoot the ball very well, but Charlotte has been going to the offensive glass, and the 49ers didn't turn the ball over much in the first half, only 4 times.
Is this the best first half shooting display you've seen all year?
I think it is. We didn't see three-point shooting on there, but we're going to show you right now. Indiana shot the ball extraordinarily well from 3 in the first half. 10 of 14. Let's see, that's 71.4%. 71.4% in my head. That's amazing, isn't it? But the shooting they did by getting the ball inside, kicking it back out, spotting up in transition, making the extra pass. I mean, the big guys did not carry the load in the first half. Curtis Withers with 6 points. Marco Killingsworth with 7, only 3 of 7 from the field. But guys like Roderick Wilmot had a nice first half. Robert Vaden had 12 points in the first half and carried the load for Indiana. They have spread the ball around, and they have shot it extraordinarily well.
Marshall Strickland also nailing 3 3-pointers. He was 3 for 4. The cautionary note for Indiana might be don't fall in love beyond that 3-point line, but they're right back at it, and a miss by Monroe as he tries for another 3-pointer. A tie-up and a hold in the first 15 seconds of the second half, with Indiana leading by 10 points over unranked Charlotte.
Yeah, I do think that's a great point, Dave, the idea of falling in love with that 3-point shot because he shot it so well in the first half. They've still got to go inside to Marco Killingsworth and let him go to work. And for Charlotte, they've got to continue to run good offense. Toward the end of the first half, they did a much better job of moving the ball from side to side and making some passes, making Indiana guard.
Baldwin pulls up inside the 3-point line but can't get it to go. So both teams with a quick miss. The Hoosiers forced to settle for an NIT postseason bid last season. A very young team playing a rough schedule, and it showed for them as they lost 14 games. But this team markedly improved in several areas. Obviously, we've seen that with 3-point shooting. Rebounding is another big area where Indiana is much better than a year ago. Alexander straight on. He buries a 3. That might be the key tonight for the 49ers if they're going to climb back in this thing.
Well, they've got to get him going, and Curtis Withers making a great play. He's got really good hands defensively. That looked like it was going to be an easy basket for Indiana, and Withers saved it.
Goldwire underneath to Withers on the catch. Had it batted away and stolen away by the Hoosiers. But a whistle here as well with 18:44 left in the second half.
D'Angelo Alexander, a transfer from Oklahoma, eligible this season. Good catch and shoot player, averaged just about 10 points per game as a freshman under Kelvin Sampson. He's a physical defender. He can put the ball on the floor. And he's the leading scorer for Charlotte. There's that handoff play again for Goldwire.
Nance pulls up, and he drills in for him. And a quick start here for the 49ers. They closed the first half on a little 12-5 run.
So 2-2-1, three-quarter court pressure. They're going to just try to contain, slow down Indiana a little bit and drop back into this really a 1-1-3, kind of a 2-3 zone with a tandem out front.
Killingsworth kicks out to Wilmot, hit a couple of big threes in the opening 20 minutes. Another triple on the way, and nothing but net for Marshall Strickland.
That's just too easy. The rotation has to be quicker in those slides by Charlotte, because all Indiana really did there was throw the ball around the horn. They moved it from side to side, but you got to be able to get there.
And Strickland, when they don't get there, he nails those threes. 4 out of 5 tonight. The turnaround bank shot, and Strickland with the rebound.
Withers and Baden going at each other, and Mike Kitts blowing the whistle to get them together to say, guys, look, if you want to fight, the Golden Gloves is accepting applications right now. You want to play ball? Let's play ball.
In the late stages of the first half, the referees had to do the same thing. Separate the Hoosiers from the Niners. Here's a look.
Just a little box out, and Withers trying to free up that arm. Baden doesn't like it. You're going to play physical. You got to be able to absorb a bump without squaring up.
Baden feeding Killingsworth. Bulls his way in for 2. And a foul on the play. Boy, Marco Killingsworth trying to establish himself in the second half. This is a guy, 20 points, 9 rebounds a game, but a pretty unsatisfying first half for him.
Well, very good job and very smart play here by Indiana to go inside to Marco Killingsworth. Chris Nance has done a nice job of trying to push him off the block, but when Killingsworth can turn toward that left hand over his right shoulder, well, he's going to score more often than not. And Nance, a big, strong, physical defender, but one-on-one down in the post, Killingsworth is going to have the advantage over time.
Killingsworth only had 7 points, 2 rebounds in the opening half. He's up to 12 now for the game. 48-35 Indiana. They led by 10 at the break. Baldwin gives it off. Alexander hit a 3 just moments ago. And again, he is the 49ers top scorer. A near stumble by Goldwire, somehow able to get the shot up there, but no good.
Boy, too much dribbling by Charlotte. You know, they made 3 passes. They must have bounced it 30 times.
Killingsworth, great fake. Kicks it off to Ratliff, and that's around and out. Nance with a strong rebound. Boy, he's a presence in the paint.
Very good physical defender. Offensively, not great.
Baldwin drills that one. And so Charlotte trying to make their way back with their own three-point accuracy. 6 out of 11 beyond that three-point line.
Charlotte switching back from man-to-man, going back into that zone look. You have really got to close out the shooters out of this zone. Look how Indiana keeps you spread. I mean, they are a step and a half, 2 steps off that three-point line.
Monroe, the 6'5" senior out of Madison, Wisconsin, handling the ball. He glanced at the shot clock, which is down to 5. Now he'll take the baseline. The kick off Baden's hand. He turns and fires. Boy, you're almost surprised that didn't go.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a heave the way they're going tonight. And Baldwin will pull it up here for the 49ers. Withers calling for the ball, battling with Killingsworth. He nails the shot from close range. Curtis Withers, the National Player of the Year candidate, has 8.
Looks like a technical foul on Mike Davis. He was getting into Mike Kitts, and Mike Davis is irate right now. Donnie Marsh, Kerry Rupp trying to calm him down, and he needs to get back to the bench. You don't want to get tossed out of a game on the road, and that was not a good time for a technical foul. Charlotte getting back into this ball game, and he is just going off on Mike Kitts.
So Mike Davis has been teed up. Charlotte has crept to within 8 of his number 17 Hoosiers.
A different kind of New Year's Eve countdown, 11 p.m. on ESPN2.
This holiday season, take your family to a galaxy far, far away with the biggest movie of the year. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on DVD. This 2-disc set is packed with over 6 hours of bonus features. Buy Star Wars Episode 3 on DVD today. This holiday, the bad guys are the good guys.
Taking your sister under my protection.
And the ultimate weapon is on board.
What a crew you've come. Yeah, they're fine boys.
Serenity. The action takes off on DVD Tuesday.
You've never seen anything like this before. Not that. This.
The Icy Hot Medicated Sleeve. Joint-hugging pain relief with medicine that goes on icy to dull the pain, then gets hot to relax it away.
The Icy Hot Sleeve. There's never been anything like it.
Accidents happen. Nice to know the Jetta received the top overall crash rating in its class from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety.
For men, competition is a 24/7 thing that demands the protection of new Speed Stick 24/7. That's why they developed the microabsorber technology in new Speed Stick 24/7. Powerful particles that can absorb up to 100 times their weight in wetness, keeping you drier. And ready for even the most demanding competition. New Speed Stick 24/7 with microabsorber technology, keeping men drier 24/7.
Closed captioning for selective programming has been brought to you by The Game in 310.
Competition, how dare you doubt me? Hurricane, you can't go nowhere without me. Hurricane, it's not a shoe, it's my shoe.
Scott Reese back in the studio. It was a scare for Gonzaga against Eastern Washington, but the Zags pull away late, and they do it with their star, Adam Morrison. The backdoor cut there for 2 of his 29, and then 2 more here. That's the finish. 75-65. Zags are winners. Dave?
All right, guys, thank you very much. Indiana's lead cut to 8. Not the best time for Davis to get teed off and teed up here, but here's what's he's angry about.
Well, a little bit upset right here. You can see Lewis Monroe trying to block out, and he's going to just get pushed underneath. Curtis Withers going to grab that rebound. Mike Davis very upset with it. It wasn't called by the officials, but right now, Lemar Goldwire is going to the line to shoot 2 free throws, and Charlotte can cut this to a 2-possession ball game, make it a 6-point game. And that puts a little bit of game pressure back on Indiana. They're playing with the lead. But Indiana will keep possession of the ball. It's point of interruption. It used to be you got a technical foul, you would get 2 shots and the ball. But now it's point of interruption, so Indiana keeps it.
And Davis tries to keep his cool on the sideline. A 6-point lead all of a sudden. Baden goes cross court. The turn and shoot by Strickland. Is Indiana going to go cold here at the worst possible time as Charlotte starts to connect on their shots?
This is a big possession for Charlotte to really put some pressure on Indiana and get a much better feeling about themselves.
Alexander running into Killingsworth there. 14 seconds to shoot. The pull-up pop is going to roll in.